A dream of Reverend Woodlot Stumps, a drowning man in a dream, grabbed Reverend Woodlot Stumps by the ankles and dragged him under the water. And a voice in the dream said, "Even a drowning person likes company." When the town council of Roaring Water met to put pressure on local authorities to shut down the Church of the Living Monument, because orgies had been going on there for a number of years and people were talking about it. There was talk. It was giving the town of Roaring Water a reputation. Reverend Woodlot Stumps argued that this church was necessary and the activities were necessary to relieve stress because everyone needs company. Everyone needs a mate. And we should not interfere with the call of nature, the call of orgone, orgasm, of blissful streaming and tingling and biofeedback joy. Vinegar, sugar, 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 sugar. Grandmother would say, "Hello, sugar," to Lohbado when he was a boy, and press a 50-cent coin into his hand.
I want to smile and be happy like these people here. These people are laughing. They're so happy. They are so happy. They're getting paid to do this. They're getting money to smile.
It looked like little bugs in the mayonnaise. Little bugs, little black dots, little creepy crawlies swimming in the mayonnaise.
So happy, so very happy, and here's even more happy people. Oh, so many happy. Reference point.
I'm sitting here in the front room and gazing out the window. A roar in the head and outside, in a bus, on a metro platform, walking down the street, heavy equipment, machinery, reminiscing and writing poetry. And stories. I got lots of stories up my sleeve. Fragments. All these fragments of stories. I've been trying to piece these fragments together that I've picked up here and there. But it just came to mind an evening with Leo Comet and telling about when he was having a pint of beer in the Bull's Blood Tavern in Roaring Water back in the 20th century with the Reverend Woodlot Stumps, who had founded a sect church, the Church of the Living Monument, which he lasted about maybe 5-6 years before the town council. This was in Roaring Water. It was a logging town. They closed down the church because he'd been having orgies in the church basement on weekends with the members of his church, and there'd been some complaints. He'd gone too far, and there was it was nobody would talk about it, but there was a lot of speculation what exactly happened during those orgies. But Leo remembered Woodlot telling him a strange anecdote over a pint of beer about Bilson, who drowned in the log drive. They were breaking up a log jam that was threatening to wash away the bridge across the river. The log boom broke. The logs were kept in place by chains or whatever, and the boom broke, and the logs were floating wild down the river, and they were out there trying to get the logs under control, reduce the pressure of the lumber pressing against the pilings of this concrete bridge, because there was enough force in there that those logs could have swept the bridge away. During this time, Bilson fell off the logs into the river and drowned. Well, they saw his head get crushed between two logs. He fell in the water, and then two logs smashed his head, and then he disappeared under the fast-moving water, and they never did find him. He could get swept a long, long ways. This happened the day after he'd been beaten up out behind the hotel, because there was a love triangle going on between Bilson, Hank, and Jenny. Jenny had taken a fancy to Bilson that made Hank really jealous, so he and a couple buddies, after closing time, they jumped Bilson and they beat him up, and that made him a little woozy the next day when he went to break up the log jam. He wasn't in the best of shape. There was a little bit of guilty feelings going around. Nobody said anything, but everybody knew. Another anecdote, though, is the brief romance of Woodlot Stumps and Rosemary, that she was the church organist, and they got it on together. And they were going steady for a few years. Actually, less than a year they went steady. But the big complaint, apparently everybody talked about it because Rosemary complained to her friends, and then, there's this whole policy: when you have a little bit of gossip, you go tell it on a mountain. So nothing's secret. There's no such thing as a secret in a place like Roaring Water. That the thing that made her lose her libido for Woodlot was his eating habits, that he ate like a dog. He would chew loud and swallow loud, and his posture was horrible. He would hunch over his plate like a gorilla and shovel the food into his mouth, and she found it repulsive. And she told him several times, "Come on, stop your eating. Stop. Do something about your eating habits. This is not. I don't like this." And he just had attitude towards her, and he'd grown up on the wrong side of the tracks, and he just insisted that nobody's going to tell me how to eat. I'll eat how I've always ate. I'm not going to change my eating habits now. And he just wouldn't listen. And as Rosemary said, I tried to tell him, and he wouldn't listen until it's too late. And so so she left him. Because if you can't eat together, then there's not going to be much happening in bed together either. And it's just going to go downhill fast. So she left him. So then Woodlot had something to cry about for the next 10 years. So these are all fragments that I'm putting together, and I just thought I'd use it as a little bit of seasoning or hot sauce for this audio-video painting on Lohbado channel. And I hope you have a happy day.